desperation and loneliness, lost people, and a great mystery. In just a moment, you are about to witness one of the most terrifying moments in history. You will see, perhaps only a small part of it, the dark side of the space race during the Cold War, a side that has never truly been told. By the way, if you take just 1 second to like the video and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. In 1957, the Soviet Union began its journey into space, and the idea of directly exploring space soon turned into a fierce competition. On October 4th, 1957, with the launch of Sputnik 1, the space race officially began. 4 months later, the United States responded by launching its first satellite, Explorer 1. However, on April 12, 1961, the Soviet Union achieved something unprecedented by sending a human into space. Yuri Gagarin, aboard Vostok 1, became the first human to enter Earth's orbit, completing one full orbit in 108 minutes before landing safely on Soviet territory. This was one of the most courageous and important achievements in human history. Following this success, the Soviet Union continued to secure major milestones in the space race. On June 16, 1963, Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman sent into space aboard Vostok 6, completing 48 orbits around Earth and spending nearly 3 days in space before landing near the Chinese border. She bravely took another historic step for humanity. Yet some people believe she was not the first woman to go into space. According to these claims, there exists serious and chilling evidence suggesting otherwise. From the very beginning, the Soviet Union intended to keep its space program secret, aiming to stay ahead of the United States and maintain global dominance. For this reason, many space missions were conducted in secrecy, and it was during these hidden operations that tragedy allegedly began. When Sputnik 1 entered orbit, it transmitted radio signals that could be easily received on Earth, drawing the attention of people worldwide. Among those listeners were two Italian brothers, Achille and Giovanni, who were deeply fascinated by space and determined to record everything they could. In the late 1950s, they built an amateur radio station using their own resources. After Sputnik 1's success, plans were made to send a living being into space, and on November 3, 1957, an unsuspecting dog named Laika was launched aboard Sputnik 2. For the first time in history, a living creature was sent into space, with Laika's vital signs monitored through transmitted signals. Before the launch, the Italian brothers secretly prepared their recording equipment, and after Sputnik 2 was launched, they attempted to receive its signals. At one point, they managed to record Laika's heartbeat, which may have captured her final moments, as the cabin temperature rose to 43 degrees Celsius during ascent. Soviet sources later claimed that Laika died from heart failure caused by extreme heat. The recordings collected by the Italian brothers gained attention, and with financial support, they established a more advanced listening station called Torre Bear in an old German bunker. This allowed them to better track satellite speed and direction. As space exploration continued, rumors began to spread that some cosmonauts had disappeared and that fatal accidents were being covered up. The first major source of the lost cosmonauts theory emerged in December 1959, when a Czech communist leaked information claiming that multiple cosmonauts had died during failed, unofficial missions. Between 1961 and 1967, it is believed that around 11 accidents occurred and were deliberately concealed in the interests of the Soviet Union, with the strongest evidence coming from archived records that were later erased. Some believe the Italian brothers' recordings belong to these lost cosmonauts. One of the earliest serious recordings dates back to November 28, 1960, when signals from a tracked satellite gradually weakened, as if it were drifting away from Earth, possibly due to a malfunction sending it into deep space. About a year later, in February 1961, an even stranger signal was captured: the sound of a human heartbeat and labored breathing, possibly belonging to a woman. What made this recording even more unsettling was that, around the same time, the Soviet Union announced the crash of an unmanned spacecraft. The most mysterious detail is that this individual was allegedly a woman whose name remains unknown, with no records of her existence other than the audio itself. In the recording, the cosmonaut appears to be in extreme distress, screaming, reporting rising cabin temperatures, and expressing fear. The Italian brothers interpreted this as the final moments of a female cosmonaut. Imagine being completely alone inside a tiny spacecraft, receiving no response, the vehicle accelerating uncontrollably, the temperature rising rapidly, and knowing that death is inevitable, a terrifying and utterly hopeless